Okay, well, let's open the program with a great hello. And where are we off to today, Georgina?
I believe we are on our way up to Prince Edward County to see a property that's been intriguing us for an incredibly long time. And we refer to it as the Big Blue Barn because our least favorite color for most things except for jeans is blue. And usually when we get good deals on things, they're blue. Sofas, cars, whatever else. And this place has been sitting there. It's like the third time it's gone for sale. And it seems like there were other people in the world that were as crazy as we were and built a property where the square footage of the garage actually outstrips the living quarters.
So what are the actual measurements of the barn?
I believe the barn is 24 by 64 on the main floor. There's 4 bays and 2 man doors. And upstairs is a loft that's 16 by 64 that has full head height at the peak. And it's about 6.5 feet where the barn roof comes down. So it's a substantial amount of space. The loft isn't insulated, is it?
Not insulated, no.
But I think that would be a really necessary thing to keep the garage from sweltering in the summer and freezing in the winter. And so it would provide us some extra office space and some storage for other things. We'd certainly be downsizing substantially if we decided to make that move, so we wouldn't have as many things or as much stuff.
So what would we be doing with the stuff that we don't want to take with us?
Well, the stuff that's not going with us will go to 3 places. It'll go to donation, it'll go to friends, we will sell some of it, and our favorite location for things we can't donate or sell is permanent long-term storage, or the dump. So we'll be doing a lot of Lone Ranger runs and getting rid of the just stuff. I mean, you know, boxes that have old papers in them that have timed out past 7 years, all those sorts of things. So, I mean, whether we move or not, certainly getting our place prepared so that it's able to be sold is going to be an exercise in search and rescue and sort of piling through the hoarding issues. So that's what we'll be able to do. So we're just on our way to get our friend Bart right now. Bart lives in a supported living facility in Peterborough. He's been there since April last year.
And
he
up to a year.
Yeah, he was in the hospital for almost a year before that. And before that, he lived with us for 2.5 years. So we've gotten very close. He's my former design build general contracting partner and very good friend of the last 30 years. Anyhow, we're taking Bart with us because he doesn't have a date at the hospital today. So we're taking him out on a nice road trip to Prince Edward County, and we're going to go the back way. I think it's going to be really pretty nice, and it should be interesting to see what we can see today. It's almost spring again for the 3rd time in southern Ontario this year, and things are looking like this might be it. I don't think that it's likely we'll get another dump of snow. We might get some, what do you figure, Steve, some rain?
A couple of skiff storms, yeah.
Yeah, a little, maybe it'll threaten, and we'll probably get a couple of days of really long rain, but it's certainly what everything needs after a fairly dry winter, so we'll see how things go.
Long range is showing us well above freezing, so I don't see a whole lot of snow in our forecast right now. Doesn't mean that can't change, because weather patterns do change, so we still could end up with a real heavy dump of snow. I do remember back in the 70s, about 1975, I remember that southern Ontario, here where we live, got one devil of a big dump of snow on the 26th of April. So we are not immune to getting late snow. Last year on my birthday we had a minor amount of snow, and that's the 3rd of June.
And about 20 years ago it snowed like crazy when we lived in Cambridge. It seemed to be a really nice day, and when we got up in the morning and as lunch approached and passed, it got very dark and snowed like the dickens. So you never know what's going to happen in southern Ontario.
And we also have an eclipse coming very shortly, which could mean colder daytime temperatures. And if that happens and it's a rainy day with an eclipse above us, there's no reason why it wouldn't snow at that time.
Well, they're threatening huge traffic congestion in this area because we're very close to the 100% eclipse band. And also they're threatening that there's going to be some issues with communications with cell phones because the eclipse will interrupt certain things that make cell phone reception smooth. So we're planning on having a lot of food and hunkering down for the duration of that weekend, just so that we don't have to be involved in it. We know a lot of friends that are going out to stay with friends that they know in the area out near Kingston and Belleville, so they'll be out there to see the eclipse. Some of them have never seen eclipses before, so they're quite excited. Steven and I have both been fortunate enough to observe eclipses prior to this, so we're hoping that it won't be a cloudy day and that we'll get a pretty good view of it from our backyard, because that's about as far as we plan on going that day.
And I'll be digging out my old welding helmet so that we can safely look and see. But quite definitely we're in a solar storm as well currently coming from the sun. Not long ago the sun had quite an explosion on it, and so we are in a solar storm approaching us and kind of going by us right now.
And
so
that's going to interrupt the whole electrical pattern as well.
It will affect a lot of our communications, and we'll also have the northern lights visible.
There'll be trouble with the grid, though, in Quebec, won't there, because of it, the poor grounding?
Good old Quebec, yeah. Mainly rock, not much earth. Very poor grounding of electrical there in Quebec. So the boys at the hydro stations will see rising voltages and currents, and they'll probably have to shut down a fair bit of their generating in order to regulate the voltages going out. It's always an exciting time in Quebec when we have solar storms and them when they're passing. So yeah, I would wonder, I don't believe that anybody that was with the Quebec Hydro in the last solar storm, there might be a few apprentices that were there to survive it. Not that anybody died, but you know,
most of the guys have timed out by now.
Yeah, I'm thinking most of them have timed out and are on their retirement. So if they were an apprentice back at that time in the 60s, and thinking they're pretty much retired.
They're gone.
You know, so I don't think anybody is still with
no veterans of the last swell
that was there back then when we had the big one. I believe it was 1962, the way I remember it, but I could be wrong on the year.
Well, that was 50 years ago, so...
50 years, you know, I can't imagine it's 50 years ago, but yeah, I was in New Brunswick at the time, and we were well up in the latitude there, and so therefore we were able to see it quite well. My grandmother was, you know, trying to tell me not to watch, and I didn't watch, but I very definitely looked out the living room window to watch it get dark outside at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was kind of interesting. It lasted about an hour, and we were back to normal, and she said I could go out to play again.
That certainly wasn't as much fun as having cocktails in the glassblowers lab when I was in university, and the student council was invited for cocktails and watching the eclipse with the properly darkened glasses and having a good time. So I think it's much more fun to be an adult and properly equipped and possibly with celebratory cocktails to celebrate an eclipse like that.
So getting back to this property that we're going to see, it's a 1.2 acre property. It is on a dead-end road. and it is very close to the dead end. I think there's only about 7 or 8 properties beyond us.
And it's on the north edge of the largest island in Prince Edward County, and it's connected by a causeway. And if you didn't realize that it was an island, you just think you were crossing a river when you were on your way to the island. So it's not like it's secluded, and it doesn't require any ferry service like up in Georgina Island or many of the other islands that are in Prince Edward County, like Wolf and the other islands in that small collection. So it's accessible all year round, and it's a lovely collection of homes on larger properties. Certainly not urban by any means, and there's no threat of that happening anytime soon. We know a number of people in the arts community there through my association with the Baxter Arts Center. So we know a number of artists up there, and there's a number of, well, there's all the vineyards and everything else that goes on up there. So it's quite a summer-oriented kind of area, much like where we are now in the Kawartha Lakes, Peterborough area. So slightly different. Well, we do have vineyards here as well, but there's much more intensive vineyard going on out there as well. So it'll be interesting to see. Our daughter-in-law's favorite is doing a tour of the Prince Edward County vineyards. They've done that for a number of years for their anniversary, so hopefully they'll make use of our guest room when they want to come up and tour the vineyards, and certainly get the wines that she's especially fond of out there.
Oh, speaking of our daughter-in-law, hi Jenny, good to think. We're thinking about you, dear.
Looking forward to seeing you guys all on Sunday.
Hi Jake, I know you're working today. It's a Wednesday.
And we know that the girls are off from college in Windsor and Guelph, enjoying their
March
studies.
break.
They'll be home for part of March break, although our oldest granddaughter is doing a work placement for her course of studies, and is actually working full-time, so she won't get as much time off as our youngest granddaughter, who's actually in a regular program right now. But at least we'll both get to see them over the weekend, which is always nice.
So yeah, that's going to be our day. We're probably going to try and kick this on once we get Bart picked up and we start down the highway.
And we'll give you a little bit of a zoom of the road. We'll do probably a fast forward of the road trip.
And if we don't come back with Bart on, it's because Bart's one of those guys that doesn't like to go on camera. So we'll see if we can coerce him to get on. And maybe it'll work.
We'll see.
We'll see. Anyway, we'll definitely put the camera on the other way, and you can watch the road happen for a while, and when we put it on the video, it'll probably go on fast forward, and
with some nice music.
Yeah, we'll find some nice music to go with it. Anyway, we're gonna quit now and take a break, and we'll go pick up Bart, and we will talk to all of you soon.